Financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Franti.
Well, surprise, 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 as Gomer Pyle would say. Gino Franti has decided to join the show today on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. See, I didn't even say that right. It's like, surprise, surprise, surprise.
Actually, that's not too bad.
Not too bad.
I usually rag on Don about his impressions, but that wasn't too
Golly,
bad.
Sergeant. So,
all right, don't keep going.
Gino decided to join us, and we're here with Robert Schwartz with Premier College Guidance, helping educate and inform you about some really important changes in the basic college prep, college testing that I didn't know about. I didn't know they completely rewrapped the SATs and how it's being done. And you were going over some of the changes with the SATs in the last segment, which quickly, because you went in detail, so they can go on to our YouTube channel at donandgino.com. We'll post this show on it, of course, and then you'll be able to see the details that you went over, the changes of the SAT. Real quick, just name a couple of quick changes, and then we'll go into the other changes regarding the test.
Absolutely. So I mentioned that the math questions level of difficulty has been raised significantly. Within the realm of changes that are going to be difficult for students to kind of wrap their heads around, they're going to be asked to be knowledgeable in important U.S. historical documents like the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, things that pertain to sort of the national embodiment of America. And those will be built into reading passages, and they'll have to answer questions about them and maybe even write an essay on one
that's cool.
of them.
I mean,
Well,
I
I
like
think
that.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm assuming it's going to be like, what year was it written? Who were the people who wrote it? Yada, yada, yada.
No, it's going to be much more contextual in nature. It's going to be what is the true meaning behind these things. I mean, that's maybe the biggest departure of all, Gino, is this is no longer a names, dates test. This is a thinking person's test.
I like it.
That makes it
Well,
real
a
different.
lot of kids, that makes them nervous.
Yeah, well, of course, because then they can just memorize. But it's not all about just memorizing, because then you forget it as soon as you do the test. This is actually understanding it.
Actually,
Correct.
you know what's great is it's going to cause people to, like you said, a thinking test. It's going to cause people to formulate, and Don and I love this, our best guests always have an opinion. So it doesn't have to be a right or wrong situation necessarily either. I think it's just saying, hey, read this text, and how do you feel about it?
Gino, I have to give you a gold star already. I can't
Bam!
believe
And just
it.
walk in the door and just get one.
That is one of the well-taught techniques of how to answer these questions, where you cover the answers and you say, well, what do I think? And then you compare your opinion to the answers that are there to kind of offsuit check it and say, does my thought process match up with one of the answers?
That's how I got through college, by the way, without actually going to class.
Well, you are a talented man. What can I say? Don Getling, Renaissance man.
Well, it sounds good.
Yeah, no, I just gave my opinion, and it was so strong in my, how I wrote it, that they're like, I like this. I'll give it a good grade.
Actually, it's funny. That's a good point you bring up, because that's not, Don, that's not just a school thing. And when we talk about going to college, it's learning to learn, right? So
I agree.
At the end of the day, if you learn how to be successful at convincing people that your opinion is valid, that's good in business. That's good anywhere you go. It's really,
we got 25 people that bought in somehow here. Sorry, Tina and Lisa behind the curtain.
There's one other big change that I wanted to bring out before talking about the essay, and that is the use of graphs and charts is going to rapidly increase in this new version of the test. So visual learners are going to like this, but it's also that contextual learning of taking data and not just looking at, well, that number and that number, and, well, that number and that number show up in one of the answer choices. It's thinking about, what does the data tell us? And that's how you're going to answer these questions.
That's a good tee-up to tell them what we do on the National Real Estate Cafe, Don, because that's pretty much our job on the National Real Estate Cafe is to look at charts and graphs and data,
analyze them,
and analyze it and say, what does this mean, and where is this going to take us, and how do we project what's going to happen next by looking at what happened in the past?
So I feel pretty comfortable saying both of you would do well on the new SAT.
I think so. I mean, we usually, that's why I was teasing earlier in the show, Gino, about our crystal ball, is everybody's like, well, those guys are really, really smart. But really, we're just great at analyzing charts and seeing trends and things that change and how it affects you, basically listening to the show every week. And that's why we did the National Real Estate Cafe. By the way, we do a 2 to 3 minute video blog every day on what's really happening in the basically real estate, economy, interest rates, GDP, job reports, all that. We actually dissect it and let you know what it really means to you, because the media is a marketing company. Their job is to entertain you and get you to listen. They don't really inform you. Just so you know, a lot of those people don't know how a clue what they're talking about.
Well, they're not
We do.
financial analysts.
Right.
Right? The ones that are have done a really good job, right? At the end of the day, Dave Ramsey is a great businessman,
Yes, I agree.
right?
I have
And
a lot of respect for him.
So when he goes out and he talks and people listen, it's because he's a great businessman and a financial analyst.
Right.
Not a weatherman.
Right.
You know.
So if you want these, you can get them right to your phone. You'll be the smartest person. I can't even say the water cooler. You're the smartest person at Starbucks
At the
these
Keurig.
days.
At the Keurig, yeah.
At the Keurig. By texting NREC to the number 58885. That's NREC to 58885. Or check out our website at nrecafe.com. nrecafe.com. A lot of great information, a lot of great YouTube videos, and you'll be in the know. Okay, speaking of being in the know, we're still here. Robert Schwartz with Premier College Guidance, and we were going over the changes in the S.A.T. Dramatic changes for you, your child, your grandchild.
So there's one more to talk about, which is the essay. Now, the essay used to be a mandatory part of this exam. It is now technically optional. That is a bit of a myth, though, as if you want to apply to a UC school or one of the more competitive colleges, they require the essay. And if you do not provide it, your entire score is null and void.
I hate it when that happens.
Ugh.
So if you're not certain that you're applying to, say, the Cal State University system, consider this mandatory, pay for it, sit for it. Now, the test itself, when it comes to the essay, used to be a 25-minute, very easy, step-by-step, if I can build a 5-paragraph essay, I'm going to score very well. Again, not the case. It's a thinking person's essay. They give you 50 minutes to write the essay now,
Wow.
not 25, and they're really looking for intellectual curiosity and development within the essay. It is a large departure.
If I was to write an essay today, I'd give them 50 minutes to try to figure out what the hell I wrote on that piece of paper with my penmanship.
I understand that. Mr. Franti appears to have a 6.3 earthquake.
And he's
really
going to
sure.
medical school because he writes like a doctor.
Indeed. So finally, what hasn't changed? The ACT hasn't appreciably changed. College acceptance is still based on either test. They do not care which one you submit. So give them the best one that you have at a bare minimum. And if you're not sure, give them both. Let them do the hard work.
Yeah, make them earn their money.
Absolutely. And realize that, again, the test score is one small part of a much bigger application dossier. That has not changed either.
Ooh, dossier.
Wow, dossier. Those are
Yeah.
big words from Mr. Robert Schwartz of Premier College Guidance. That's what you want guiding your child, is somebody who can say words like dossier and vernacular.
Right.
Those are big words. And you may need to know those words for the new SAT.
That's true.
That's a lot better than your plethora, Don, that you've been using
I
recently.
use new words today. Gino, use your words.
You guys are horrible. All right, so I also said that I was going to talk a little bit about the changing universe of financial aid.
Yeah, but we're going to have to go in the next segment to do that. You can tee it up, though, because
All
we only
right.
got a minute here.
Okay, so here's
Because this is why you want to listen to our last segment here. This is important. How the hell do I pay for
How do I
it?
pay for all that? Yeah.
In the current version, if you have a student this year who has applied to college, they applied in October, November, December, maybe even January, you're filling out application forms for the FAFSA or the CSS profile, the two major forms used by colleges across the country, right now. That changes in the coming year.
All right, you heard it. Changes for the coming year. And I don't think any of you need to know more than how do I pay for my child or my grandchild's college, because it is expensive and getting more expensive. So you want to stay tuned with Robert Schwartz of Premier College Guidance, and Don and Gino will be right back. Please don't go away. Great stuff coming.